Hi, you're watching and listening to the Fat Bidin Film Club, and I'm assuming I'm Zan Azli.
And I'm Shelly Mustafa.
And as usual, every week we watch a local film in Malaysia and we review it. And this week we are going to watch a Tamil movie in Klang. What's the movie called?
Vedigundu Pasangge.
She said it.
Yes.
Because if I say it, it will just come out as Bangade Bangade. Okay.
So we watched
I cannot pronounce it.
Vedigundu Pasangge.
Vedigundu?
Pasangge.
Gundu?
Yeah,
Or Dungu?
it's Gundu.
Dungu? Gundu
Pasangge.
Pasangge. And they have a very catchy theme song. Vedi Gundu Pasangge. Vedi.
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
It was actually stuck in my head the whole day, whole morning.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the film basically follows this one flirt, Deva,
Yeah.
who likes this girl. What's her name?
Sakti.
No, it's not Satya. That was a different film. Okay, so Teva likes this girl. He's like Vidya.
Vidya, that's right, Vidya.
Okay, so Teva likes Vidya. They've liked each other since they were kids lah, in the kampung in Sekinchan. And then Vidya moved to KL. Her whole family moved to KL, it would seem. And
She becomes like a hotshot.
Yeah, she's
fashion
like,
designer.
she like has fashion show and she takes karate classes. We don't really know what she does, but basically she lives in KL now and he lives in Sekinchan. So the whole show is basically about this love story between the two of them, more or less. So, why don't you tell us what you thought of the film first this week?
The film was actually it's directed by Dr. Verumal.
Yes.
Dr. Vijay Verumal. Vimala Verumal. Wait, we're gonna get this right.
We're gonna check this.
We have to get this right because
this is news and we don't
Yes.
do fake news.
Dr. Verumal.
Is it? Okay, I got it.
Okay, you got it.
It is Vimala Perumal. I was right.
Okay, Dr. Vimala Perumal. I think we need to get it right because I thought the film was not bad. It's actually quite a good film, although it's a little bit dragged out, a little bit too much. I felt that it could have been a very good short film that could have been done in like between 10 to 20 minutes because he tried to drag it out a lot. To expand a little bit about the story, it's about that a family who lives in Kinchan, right?
It's basically about the whole kampung. Really.
The whole kampung lah. It's an Indian kampung.
Yeah.
Right? And family moves away. Some stay in Kinchan. They grow up as childhood friends. And then I thought it was a little bit preachy with all the social commentary about the Indian community, which is good. But sometimes they can actually deconstruct the whole Indian psyche in Malaysia in one corridor walk of a police station. They whoa, Indians are like this, Indians are like that, in one like 2-minute walk down the corridor. And then after that you see another incident happens and they deconstruct again. It seems a little bit planned lah, you know, in that sense. But the story is nice. And I think that we've been watching so many Tamil movies recently, right? In the recent months, like there was a release of like so many Tamil movies, and we're starting to identify with these actors already.
They are bros now.
Yeah.
We know your faces, y'all. Okay.
And I also noticed that the Indian community, if you watch all these films, they are very big on brotherhood and friendship. If you grow up with these people, you stick with your friends until you die. Like in this movie, you stick with your friends even, even more than family, apparently, right?
It's a saying in the film.
Yeah, it is a saying in the film.
Like and friends are forever, family.
Yeah,
like,
and
something like that.
Through my own observation of the Indian community, I have Indian friends who, to them also, this brotherhood thing is a very.
Hi, are you here?
Yeah, so they are big on brotherhood. They feel they need to stick together. And I'm gonna be judgy here and say that maybe that's why they're always in gangs. Look, gangsterism is also something that is addressed in the film, right?
A lot of things are addressed in the film.
And we all know that the Indian community suffers from this kind of social issues, isn't it? Gangsterism and snatch thefts is also always associated with Indians, Malays too, but Indians also. These two big groups you know, and they exploit in the film, which I thought was quite a nice way to talk about these issues, But it's still very draggy. It should have been a short film to me, But it was shot very nicely, though. Yeah.
I agree. I like the story, but I really didn't like the execution of the story. It was so long, you guys. Like, oh my god. It was like 80% filler scenes and 20% core scenes. And there was so many redundant parts of it that were just pointless lah. Like they really contributed nothing to the plot.
It was 2 hours long.
It was 2.5 hours long.
Yeah.
Yes. There were little social nuances that they put in that I kind of really appreciated. It was a bit preachy because I feel like maybe the dialogue wasn't written well enough for it to be subtle and sort of, you know, witty and slightly less on the nose. But it was nice to see something basically in the film, because really we went in and we just expected it to be bad.
Because there are not many good local Tamil movies.
Because it was so slow, within the first 10 minutes I fell asleep. I took a nap and I woke up and nothing had happened yet.
Yeah, I left the cinema twice. So one to talk on the phone, one to go to the toilet. Came in, the same thing happening on the screen.
Yeah, and but you know, like it was not a bad story.
Yeah.
But it was really slow, and the dialogue and everything was not very
Punchy.
well. It was not punchy. Number one. It was not well executed, number two, and the lines were so long. Did you notice that? Everybody has long lines, like kind of things that would be better read than shown on screen, you know?
And hence maybe we feel it's preachy also.
Maybe that's why
it's
also
like
it's
lecturing
a bit
you.
Yeah, so the deconstructing of like the social nuances was very interesting. Like the corridor scene that he mentioned, right? It's basically a scene where the two Indian policemen
They caught a snatch thief.
They caught a snatch thief,
Who's Indian also.
and he's a repeat offender, you see.
Yeah.
So the policemen are saying like, you know, there's so many other fucking things you could do. You want to do this kind of nonsense. You're bringing all the Indians out. Why the hell do you only rob Indians anyway? Because apparently this guy only robs Indian houses. He's like, the Malays will only have the Julians, the Chinese only got jade, only the Indians will keep the gold at home, you know. So that's why I only rob the Indians are like pure gold. And I was like, actually that's quite true. Yeah.
But the thing,
so that was that. And then they bring up the idea of the whole film. Basically, the premise of the film that you find out in the third act, by the way, the whole premise of the film is the idea of the ignorance of friendship. So basically, you hang out with these people, you grow up with them, you live in the same kampung with them and everything, but you don't really know what they do.
Yeah.
You know, for work or for a living or whatever. And that sometimes can end up being detrimental to you.
It's like hanging out with the wrong crowd.
Yeah, basically it's like having the wrong friends, and they feel like, well, the film feels that all of these social problems that are attributed to Indians, gangsterism, drugs, snatch theft, crime basically, are basically because these young boys are always hanging out with the wrong people, mixing with the wrong people, but they don't even know that they're mixing with the wrong people. But again, that only came up in like the third act.
Yeah.
And if you had just made that whole film about that, there were little like subtle hints, but they're all very disjointed, you see. So actually you were the one who pointed out to me that the guy that was taking him to KL to see his girlfriend was a snatch thief. Like, I didn't even notice that until Zan pointed it out, and I was like, and it turns out he isn't the guy, the protagonist basically. isn't even like directly like doesn't come into much contact with this guy. He's just living in the same kampong. This guy happens to go to KL for work, so he just
wanted
like
to follow
follows
because he wants to see his girlfriend in KL.
Yeah, but that is the only link and connection. Like before that, we never even saw that guy.
Yeah.
And then they also explore the sort of like not really a moral conflict lah, kind of like a moral conflict, but the moral questions behind these crimes. Like this snatch theft guy, his name is Boss. They call him Boss because he got a lot of money apparently. Boss has a wife who's like pregnant and about to give birth, and that's why he goes to KL and like commits snatch theft, but and like pickpockets people and stuff.
It's his job, lah.
That's his job. Then, there's a scene where he's like going through all the wallets, right? And then he finds a wallet with pictures of kids inside and only 20 ringgit. So he tells the guy who's his accomplice to go and return it. So it's like they're trying to humanize the people behind the crime also. But at the same time, it's like not well done.
Yeah.
And it's they spend so much time on redundant things on the film that the things that could have really made the film really, really strong,
They didn't do
they kind of just glossed over, which except in the third act, which is really sad.
At the end of the day, it also kind of feels like they're kind of simplifying the problems, lah. You know, because they never explore the context as to why the Indian community became like that. They address all the symptoms, but they don't deconstruct. Compare it to like Jagat, which Jagat shows, you know, how you became like that. You know, how the cycle started.
Yeah.
You know,
I didn't really mind that so much because maybe that wasn't what this kind of film. It didn't really feel like that was what the film wanted to do.
Right.
But it really did feel like the film wanted me to realize that the antagonists are actually protagonists also, and they wanted me to realize that these are the issues that are being faced by the Indian community right now. And I felt like the representation of the Indian community in this particular film was actually quite good. It shows people like not your generic macho gangster fleurs or your generic staple stereotype type of characters, but it actually showed a real community of people lah. But again, it really could have been done so much better, and which made it a little bit disappointing towards the end.
I appreciated the fact I'm a big Rajinikanth fan. So I love all the references to Rajinikanth, especially his last movie which he shot in Malaysia, and he was supposed to be Malaysian, and they kept on, because in the whole Rajinikanth movie, even though he's Malaysian, he only speaks one word of Malay, and they made fun of that. Biarkan. I love that.
Yeah.
Would you recommend people to watch this movie? Yeah?
Yes.
You guess?
I don't know.
Okay, I would.
I'm a bit conflicted. I feel like I don't know, Jagat set a very high benchmark for me, but this wasn't bad. I'll put it that way. It was just very slow. If you are patient enough to sit through and wait for the story, then go watch the film. If you have no patience, then don't. But you can take naps in between,
and you wake up and nothing has happened, so it's okay.
You can still follow the story.
It's I think throughout this year, of all the Tamil movies that have come out in Malaysia this year, this is the best lah.
So far. Yes.
I'm not saying much, but it's still the best lah. So I would still say if you've got time,
low benchmark, to be honest.
If you've got time, go watch it. If you've got time. Like
you really got
towards like halfway the movie, I was like, when is this going to be over already?
Yeah, it was so draggy. But then towards the third act, it got very interesting. So that's why lah. Like I think I found out yesterday after watching the film that this is the filmmaker's third film, and all of her films are like that. They're all about social commentary, and they all have a moral lesson. And they all try to give you something to take back, but it's always very sort of like that, very stale, very staple. So I've never seen her other two films. I haven't seen her other two films, but I think with a little bit of guidance, maybe, I don't know, maybe a co-writer.
They had
something.
Few co-writers, right?
I don't know, but it really needs to be made differently. She's got a good story. I think she's got good intentions also. You can tell by the way she's representing all her characters in the film. She's really trying very hard to represent the Indian community as it is, rather than what they think people want to see, which is what all these bad films are, you know. They're trying to copy something that isn't really Malaysian, I feel. And while this film had like little nuances of that with like the songs and the blur and the misogyny, let's never forget the misogyny, it still felt more real than the other films are.
But the misogyny is real though.
Yeah, I know it's real.
Yeah.
So, but it's the play up of the misogyny. Like this one was quite like subtle. You see, it was like very little in like the scenes where he says like, no, you cannot tell me you're going to go. I will tell you that you can go now. Shit like that. But like you see like Achum Tawi and all these kind of other films, it was so like overdone. So it didn't feel real anymore. I feel like they were really trying to copy a different kind of staple. So her intentions are there, her story is there, but her execution and the writing of it needs to be snappier.
Yep.
So maybe she'll have a really good fourth film if she sees our review. Cewa.
So if you have any comments,
If you've seen it,
please let us know. Comment below. Subscribe to our channel. If you've got any movies that you want us to watch, or movies also can, maybe, just let us know. Follow us on all our social media platforms at Bidin. Go to fatbidin.com to get everything. So you've been watching and listening to the Fat Bidin Film Club. I'm assuming I'm Zad Nazli.
and I'm Shell A. Bustawan.
Okay.